What's up, everybody? I'm TJ.
And I'm Kelsey, and we are
the Nashville Wine Duo.
Adapters, could you just line it off? And
yes, I mean, can you really have too many adapters these days? Because you're gonna need something. Come on, you can never have too many adapters.
Anything you want, as long as you do some editing.
We need some AirPods.
All right, we are here in Brentwood. I used your coin phrase. We are here.
We are here.
We are here in Brentwood, Tennessee. Right? We're in Brentwood, right?
We're on
Yeah.
remote right
We're-
now.
yeah.
On the other side of that
That's
fence is
Nolensville
Nolensville.
Nolensville. So yeah,
Wait,
the border,
serious?
the
Yeah.
border
Oh,
of
wow.
Brentwood and
And
Nolensville.
just over that way is Franklin.
Yeah, so we're like in
okay.
the trifecta of
Where a lot of cows hang out.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
And we are here with Grant and Judy, and they are the owners of Andeval
Wines.
And we are so excited to be here, record this
Yes.
podcast with you guys. Huge fans of their wine.
Huge fans.
And so, yeah, it's an honor
You
to
say
be
that
here.
now because you've already had a couple glasses of our
No.
wine. Were you fans of it before?
Well,
No.
we were because you actually. So back when TJ and I were at Wines in the Fork, TJ was managing.
We refer to it as the
tasting
tasting room.
The
We don't
tasting
actually
room.
call it a
Oh,
name.
sorry. Yeah, the tasting room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't give it
I
any
never
kind
showed
of
that,
credibility.
ignore that.
The tasting room
The tasting room.
in Leapers Fork.
Yes, we were there, and then y'all came in with this wine, and
Well, we had been communicating on
Communicating, yeah.
Instagram, and that was the time that we set up
As
for them to
people
come in
do.
the tasting room.
That's
As
when we were
people
learning
do.
Instagram and we discovered you
Yeah.
and thought, wow, we got to meet these people. They're
And who
doing all
knew
kinds of
that
fun
these
things in
two beautiful
Nashville.
souls in Brentwood, Tennessee were behind these Argentinian wines?
but we'd only tried one to start with.
Right.
The rosé's
But
name.
who
That's all we
knew?
had.
Yeah.
Who knew that
Yes,
in Brentwood, Tennessee, were the masterminds of Andeval Wines?
very true. Yeah, so
Had no
Us
idea.
too.
yes, but y'all came in with this wine for us to taste it, and I remember it was like you'd poured the glasses. You guys were just so friendly and sweet, like just meeting you in real life. Like I was like, oh man, they're wine people, but they're like really nice, and they were like just so excited to share this wine because I felt the passion behind it. Like I felt like we're so excited about this wine. We just want everyone to taste it and try it, and that was that day. And we tried your white, and you describe it as a Chardonnay blend, like a Chardonnay, has a bunch of different fun grapes in it we're going to talk about. So it's like people that maybe like that Chardonnay but don't necessarily want the oaky, buttery thing going on, which is becoming more popular with unoaked Chards, right? So that's like a trend right now with Chardonnay that people are really gravitating towards is like unoaked, more minerality, like, you know, more zesty, those kinds of things. And we had tried this wine, and I was really, and I'm really not just saying this, I was really blown away by it. I was like, this wine is really, really good. And
Yeah, I remember my first initial
Yeah.
response being like, wow. First of all, I've never tried anything like what
it.
I'm currently tasting.
Yeah, nothing like it.
But it was just so interesting, but also refreshing.
Unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked away from, now every time we saw it for the past year, I was like, I've tried it. I know the
know.
people that do that wine.
Yeah, well, and I feel like white wine, I think there is so much more to be explored in this space. Like, people think here, they go to the store, okay, there's a Chard, there's a Pinot Grigio, there's a Sauvignon Blanc, but there's a big spectrum of white wines, and this is, like, so cool. This is just so fun, and I love it. And so, yeah, I want you guys to kind of talk about the story behind how you all got invested in Andeval and making this wine and all about it. Just dive into it.
Yeah, tell us who you
Dive
are
into
and how you got to this point where we're drinking your wine.
So there's your Nashville Wine Duo podcast for
Yeah.
today. You can't add anything to that, so it's thank you all for listening. I don't know, how did we get into this? It's like, I don't know if it's a comedy, a tragedy, a romance. What would you say?
Maybe it's all of them.
Crazy story.
All in one.
Yes.
We never really intended
Stranger Things.
to do it. We have been looking for a business to get into for a long time together because we want to work together.
Yeah.
And, at this point in our lives, we're ready to kind of do something together.
And fun.
And never really thought about wine. We've always loved wines. We've always loved food. I love cooking, and we got invited down to Argentina from a friend of ours.
Wait, so we have to reenact this.
Okay.
You be David, my friend who has a winery in Argentina at a 1,500-acre co-op there.
Wow.
And I'll be me. Okay.
So Grant, you and Judy want to come down to Argentina for our wine blend this year?
Let me think about it. Yes.
Great. And we went.
That's exactly what happened.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
we got invited. So I have this. I have a friend who I've worked with in the past, and he was in early on this co-op in the Los Chicayes. They call it an IG, an Indicación Geográfica.
Let me pause you for a minute. Sorry. Can you explain what a co-op would be in terms of like a wine or like a vineyard? Can you explain what that is?
Yes. So a co-op is it's a large winemaking entity, vineyard. This one's 1,500 acres, but it has central winemaking facilities. So there's one set of winemaking equipment. There is centralized winemaking expertise. There's bottling. There's cellaring. There's all of those sorts of things. And then they sell off parcels inside of it. Okay. So if you want to get 5 acres or 10 acres or 1 acre or whatever it is you want, you can buy a vineyard in this co-op in this coolest part. Well, I shouldn't say that because they're all cool. But we love our little cool part.
We think it's the coolest.
Yeah, of Mendoza, which is like smashed way up against the foothills of the Andes Mountains at 3,700 feet.
Wow. So yeah, it's like all these different people that can kind of like have a little piece of the pie, but it's like still your own.
Right.
And is everybody doing different varietals and different things with the grapes that are growing on that co-op?
Grapes.
So nobody's making a blend like you guys per se.
Whatever blends they want. The beauty of a co-op is that there's a wine pool as well. So some people sell their grapes into the wine pool. So if you want to make something that you're not growing on your land, you can trade, or you can buy some of the other wine grapes to make a wine that you wouldn't normally
So you have
make.
access to other stuff
Yeah.
that
It's
might
like
not
the
be
game
in
of
your acres.
Monopoly,
Makes
but
it
with
really,
a vineyard.
yeah.
How is that like Monopoly?
I don't know. Just like, hey, I want to
You're
buy
buying and
Park
selling.
Place.
I want to buy
and
Barclays.
bartering
I want to
with
put a
people.
house on. I don't
That's
know.
right. I understand what you're saying.
We should come up with a wine game. That'd be
Yes, wine co-op.
fun. That's the name of the game.
That's what we'll do.
So yeah, so pick up from there. So you got this co-op. You guys are,
Yeah, and to Judy's point, one of the beautiful things, so we grow the grapes that are in our white blend. It's Chardonnay, Marsanne, Roussanne, and Sauvignon Blanc. But if we woke up tomorrow and said we wanted to do a Tempranillo or a Pinot Noir or a Torrontés, which is an amazing Argentinian wine that no one knows about,
I have heard
you
of
should try it. You've tried it?
I've heard of it. I haven't tried it, but I've heard of it.
We've got some downstairs. You
Oh,
should try it.
hey.
Yeah, just move in for a while. But so you can do all of those things, and they're all standardized quality. So we've got descriptions that we know if we buy an ultra super premium from that co-op, that we know exactly how that was farmed and exactly what the yield is off of it. And then we can make our wine. If we have excess grapes, if I decide I don't want to make my wine this year, I can sell my grapes into the co-op and give them to somebody else.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's an ideal setup. And we went down there to see our friends and to help them blend their red wines they were making in Malbec.
They have a beautiful resort down there too, right on the property.
Oh wow.
Yeah, spectacular. It's like
amazing.
one of the top 10 in South America. And we went down there and became so interested in the creativity of the area. Like you guys know, if you're in France and you're in a particular region, they'll say you can only have this one grape, right? If you're in Chenin Blanc and you have white wine, you can't experiment with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in Argentina, anything goes. And some of the best winemakers in the world, Santiago Andeval from Andeval Ferrer, Francois Lerton from Bodega Piedras Negras, they're all there in this area sort of pushing the limits of what wine can do in this dry, high altitude mountain region with this gravelly soil that's just perfect for growing wine. And so it's just, we got excited about sort of the fun lab that it is for wine. And before we knew it, we had bought into it.
But how cool is that to buy into?
Oh, yeah. Well, and then it just kind of happened. Like, we were kind of talking about, I feel like we were saying something about this earlier, but just how, like if things are meant to happen, like they happen. They really do. You fall into it. And it sounds like you guys were just there at that right time, at that right moment. Like, think about it. If you had been there at a different time in your life, maybe you might have felt different about it. You might not have gone through with it. But it was like this time in your life or stage you're in, being there in that moment was like, we want to do this. And
you said need, and then you corrected yourself to want.
Yeah. But yeah.
Kind of both. I need and I want this. So.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I love that.
We had no idea how much fun it would be. I mean, we got into it not really knowing what to expect. And then when we realized that we had 1,000 bottles of wine headed up here, we thought, we better figure out how to sell this wine. Because
so did it all just get sent to your house?
No. You have to go through
a distributor in Tennessee. That's what I would think.
Right.
So you gotta back that story up.
That was a big project.
Like, that is like a Trail of Tears too.
Yeah.
When we first got involved in this, they said, okay, wonderful romantic thing, you're going to make this wine and you'll get it. And we're like, okay, and then what do we do with it? Share it with your friends, enjoy it. And there are a few people who are commercializing. I was like, okay, I want to do that. And as we started to talk to people, everybody discouraged us. They were like, it is too hard.
They showed you not to do it.
Wine is the most difficult and bureaucratized business you could possibly want to get into. There are 50 states, there are 53 controlling authorities over wine. You could sell marijuana much easier than you can sell wine in America.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. It's completely crazy.
Yeah.
And everybody just said, don't even try, just relax and enjoy your wine. But we were determined. So we just kept talking to people. And a year later, we got our federal importer license, our federal wholesaler license, our Tennessee state reseller license. We got a distribution agreement, which is super hard to do when you're a small producer. And now we've got wines. We're selling online at andevalwine.com, and then we also are all over Nashville at the Bottle Shop at McEwen, at Brinkman's, St. Goose, Wine Chap. Yeah, and then we're in restaurants, Etch
and the Rutledge.
The Rutledge, which is, I don't know if you guys know, Rutledge is in Franklin, but they're opening a new restaurant downtown at the Four Seasons that they're just
opening. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they'll be open in June. Yeah.
Wow.
So we all need to go to the Rutledge when they open downtown and do some content for
yeah.
Andeval.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Date. Come on.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really cool story. And how'd you come up with the name again? Talk about the name. And spell the name.
Yeah, so it's Andeval. And like my whole background in life is publishing and marketing and branding and all this sort of stuff. So who came up with the name for the wine?
I did.
That would have been my guess.
Well, we had a long list.
Yeah.
It's not easy to,
Our daughter came up with the Nashville Wine Duo.
Yep.
Yeah,
We had
it's
tons
the
of
same
names,
thing,
and then she
right?
was like, "You
What
just
were
need to be
your
called."
other names that like? What did you want?
Probably something horrible
Something
that we
really
were like,
bad.
"Oh, that's a cool name."
You
And
know,
she's like,
TJ. You know.
I honestly don't remember.
I don't.
We had the
But I just know they were horrible.
It was something like we wanted it to be be something with Nashville.
It was Nashville.
Okay.
Nashville and wine,
have
but
to
we
have
can.
wine.
Yeah, but we couldn't. They were probably very horrible
But
ideas.
what's funny is a lot of people call us Wine Duo.
Yeah, they call us the Wine Duo.
They just refer
That's
to us
it.
as Wine
They
Duo.
just leave out Nashville.
Because you're
Because they're
worldwide
in
now.
Nashville.
Well,
Yeah,
we're going
and a lot of
international.
But like
so.
people like told us, like someone told us the other day about like the staff from Restoration Hardware like watches our videos or something like that, and she was like,
Nice.
she said they call you the Wine Duo, and she was
Right.
like, that's why I didn't know if they were talking about you, and then I kept asking them questions like, do they work? Do they have trade shows? And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's the Nashville. So Wine Duo.
Well, they're
Yeah.
just familiar with you now.
Has that been taken?
They know you.
Wine Duo?
Yeah, is anybody else the
Well,
wine?
it probably is now
Probably
that
is
we're
now,
talking
yeah.
about it.
So, I mean, like, you need to be reserving that name.
Some computer geeks already reserved it now.
Yeah, somebody in Chechnya.
Oh, we already had someone steal our old website.
Oh, really?
Someone bought it.
How did that?
Yeah,
What
haters. Well, just people, when you start getting some attention,
Right.
people
There's people that don't like
they
it.
don't like
Yeah.
other people getting attention, so they come in and try and
Or
disrupt
they want to
it.
They wanna-
profit
yeah,
off
they
of
want to.
Or
Or
they
they
want
wanna
to
profit.
profit. It. Yeah.
or they want to stop the
Yeah.
progression.
Yeah.
So
We cut
you
off
know.
what we were talking about though.
yeah, the name.
Yeah, the name. Let's
Right.
go back to the
See,
name. Go back
that's
to
the
name.
beauty of
Yeah.
interviews and wine and hanging out.
I know. Okay,
So
so
we
yes, the
had
name.
we
We
had
had a long
100
list.
names, all of which I thought were brilliant. But
And some of them were.
Okay,
No, a lot of them-
tell us a few of the names because I want to hear them.
I don't
want
even
to know if
remember.
I want to tell you if they're bad
if
or
you don't
not.
remember your Nashville Wine Duo names, I don't
No,
remember
you
my
do.
names.
Say it. Tell us at least one that you guys thought of for
Yeah.
the name.
What was
I
the
don't
second
know.
to the runner-up?
So I've got 4 that I actually had registered in Argentina. One was because we don't just do Malbecs, we're trying to do interesting, inventive,
Yeah.
alternative wines. We have the name Al Contrario
Okay,
reserved.
that's cool.
Like on the other hand.
At
right?
first, I thought you were gonna say the name was because we just don't do Malbecs, but then it became into more.
That would look great on a bottle.
Not Malbec. I can use that for anything
Oh my God.
except Malbec.
But yeah, I like that name.
We had that. We also had one that we had Castillo de Cielo,
That's cool.
which is like castle in the sky. Because we were thinking
Okay.
that, like, people just have these sky high dreams that are irrational and all of that. But it just, you talk to people, and so many of these names, they just like somebody, you can tell. You tell it to somebody, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's
Right.
that's nice. That's good.
Okay.
And it just wasn't hitting. And then I actually heard, so I'm going to take credit anyway because
Of course.
I primed you. I primed
Okay.
you. I was listening to something about the super famous the tastings in Paris in 1973
Yeah.
with the California
Yeah.
wines, right? And the winner of that was Chateau Montelena.
Yep, that's
Right?
the movie that we've all seen.
And the super famous Chateau Montelena 1973 Chardonnay. And I was reading about it, and the guy who started that winery, his son made up the name. They used the word chateau because they wanted to sound fancy. And Montelena is like the mountain in St. Helena, and they just sort of smushed it together.
They made up the name. I never knew that.
Yeah.
They didn't say that in the movie?
I don't.
What
know,
movie?
Maybe
There's a movie made off of it.
Sideways
No.
or
Bottle Shop.
Bottle Shop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see
I don't
that.
know if I remember them saying
I would think
that,
they'd
though.
say that in Bottle Shock, but I don't know. Anyway,
Maybe.
continue.
Anyway, so we started thinking,
Put me a
well,
little more.
maybe we could just make up a name.
So he teed me right up to it.
Wow, and so then you made it up.
Yeah, it's the Valley of
Yeah.
the Andes.
Valley of the Andes.
Oh,
Well, when you
okay.
say Andeval, it makes you think of the Andes
Right.
mountains, and then you
Right.
guys kind of have like the mountains like on the
Right.
bottles, like on the labels,
Right.
Yeah.
which
Right.
I like, and you have like kind of the starry night above it, so it's got this like.
No, I like the label a lot.
I like the label a
And
lot
even-
too, and the font, and how like the A looks like a mountain.
And that's
That
all
was the
Grant.
whole idea.
He's
So the
very
A
creative.
is supposed
He
to
did
be
all
like
of
a
that.
mountain, and the little crossbar on the A has a little valley in it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. I mean, it's like if you could see a picture of it, there is nothing in the U.S. that looks like the Andes.
Oh, totally.
I mean, like you can go to the Rockies, you can go. I feel like you can go Rocky Mountain climbing, you can go skydiving.
yeah.
They should write a country song about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can go to the Wasatch Mountains, and they're very dramatic because they're vertical. But the first time you see the Andes, I mean, they're like 20,000 plus feet.
Wow.
And they're just like
It's amazing.
right there in your face. And so you're there at 4,000 feet above sea level, and then you see these huge mountains
Right.
behind you. And this is like the highest valley on the little alluvial gravel fans that come out from the mountains, which is what makes it such a magical area for winemaking. And so we wanted to honor that because for us, the wine is all about the place and the time that it comes from. And so let's, in the name itself, have people help to understand that this is not just a wine that is coming from Modesto.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to our good friends in Modesto. The Gallows, they make fine wines.
Yeah.
They've done quite well for themselves.
There's good wines coming out of Modesto.
Yeah. But this is its own special,
Yeah.
individual, unique thing.
I love that. Well, and you guys have talked about how you have like a passion for like hiking in the outdoors and travel. So I think that this kind of also ties like into that of like your passion of like the wilderness and travel. And obviously this is a place where you traveled to and like you totally fell in love with it. And so it's coming out into a big passion of we loved wine, but now it's like, well, our travels and the outdoors is kind of coming out in this wine as well. So I think that's really cool.
And you haven't hiked until you've hiked in the Andes. Tell
I believe that.
Very difficult hiking.
Oh, I bet.
Unless you're TJ and you climb 77 flights of stairs at the wine bar.
That's good training for you.
Yeah,
Training.
I'm
urban hiking.
urban
yeah.
hiking.
I'm in spring training to get to Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the white has been out since
Last
About a
year.
year.
May of 2020, we got our
Right.
first vintage, and we just got our second year just this week.
2 days ago.
Actually, 2 days ago.
Right.
And what's really cool about it, I mean, we were talking earlier, Kelsey, about how wine changes from year to year.
Yeah.
And even though it's the same vineyard, it's in the same place, you taste the 2020, and then we just opened our first bottle of 2021. And you can tell, like, if you have kids, you can tell that they're related and they overlap,
Yeah.
you know, and they come from the same family, but they have each their own individuality. So this one, the 2020 that we're drinking today, is more like tree fruit, peaches, pears, apples, all of that sort of stuff. And the 2021, which was sort of a cooler, rainier year, you get the same grapes, but they come out more citrus, like lemon and lime and all of that stuff. And once you start drinking wine and like really thinking about it, like that's so super cool.
It is. Yeah.
That you can actually taste the difference between one year and another, and like sort of think about like what must it like have been to be in this region at this time.
Right.
And it's not just drinking sort of the Miller Lite of wines. You're drinking something that's a handcrafted product from a specific, amazing place at a specific time.
Right. So cool. And then you guys are releasing this rosé, right?
Yep.
It's
The
new. It's
rosé
new.
is not in the stores yet, but it will be within the next week or so.
Brand new.
And
Right
then
off the truck.
you had
Malbec
mentioned,
rosé.
yeah, it's a Malbec rosé.
Yes.
So
You guys talk about that for a second, because you
Yeah,
tasted
you
it,
just
and
had
it's
it.
like
Yeah.
this is not your
It's not-
regular
This is not
rosé.
your
You're the experts
This
on
is not
wine,
your
so you-
French
not
rosé.
expert. No. Oh, I really loved it. It was a very. I don't know. It's almost like I hear people say this with certain wines, like especially with whites. They'll be like, okay, this is like a cab version of that. This is like a cab version of a rosé. It's like very bold and big and like strong and like, you know, you guys had mentioned that the wines coming out of this region tend to be, the alcohol content is a little bit higher. And I just get a really full, big mouthful, and it's very dry and grapefruit, and yeah, the cherry, definitely get that. But it's so different from like a rosé from France, which is where I think probably most popular rosés are coming out of France or California. But this is cool because you're just going to get this rosé and it's going to be totally different. Like,
the Malbec element to this wine is very, very interesting, and it adds a cool element to this rosé that you don't normally get in your traditional rosés.
Right.
So for me, the Malbec gave a little more depth to the rosé, where and the alcohol content too. But I mean, it's still crisp and dry, like I was telling you earlier, but that Malbec.
But it's just got this like hardiness to it that I really enjoy.
And also the cool thing too is it's not acidic.
No.
You know, so I love this rosé. It's great, and when this thing is in the stores, you need to go and snag a few bottles.
Yeah, because we're definitely going to be talking about this one.
Yes.
It's really good. And you guys have a QR code on the back too. I just noticed that.
Yes.
Yep.
So does that take people straight to your website when they scan that? Oh, that's I
So
love
this will take you right to the website, and they can buy it.
more. I wish more.
No,
wine
it's
bottles
this
did
is not a sales thing. This is like so.
This is how you the information.
Yeah, because
So
it's
this is
like
the sheet that you
can
have
put
here.
like 2 words on a wine label that say what it tastes like.
Yeah.
But if you really want to know what can you do with this wine, what's it good for, and you want to learn about the flavors and the aroma and what was special about this year, you click on that QR code, and now we've got unlimited space to really tell people.
Well, we've seen
about
that on
that
a
wine.
few, like we've been to a few wineries that's like it's all a state and they have the QR codes, but not enough of them do that.
So
and I think
scan
that's
for
really,
complete pairing and tasting notes.
That's super cool.
So that's very
I love
cool.
that.
And
So, yeah.
toasting notes too.
And toasting notes.
If you want to
toasting.
toast your
If you want
wine
to toast wine, you do
could be
that
good.
too. Yeah.
So this is gonna hit stores.
in the next
Probably
week or
in the next
two,
week.
and in fact, in I think it's
The 7th of June.
it's the Friday, right?
Yeah. Is that the 7th?
Whatever I think the Friday's the 10th. Anyway,
No, it's
10th, yes. 'Cause
Look
Sunday's the
online.
5th. Yeah.
and on a Friday in June, very soon
2
from
weeks
now,
from last Friday.
Yeah. I think it's the 10th.
we'll be doing a tasting of both of our wines at the bottle shop
Yes.
at
Okay.
McEwen, which is in that the McEwen South
Yeah,
Side
it's
development.
right by where TJ works.
Right by Whole
It
Foods.
is the 10th.
Right by Whole Foods.
It's the 10th.
Right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you can come taste it then,
Yep.
and
We'll
it'll
do
be
another
there
one at
after
Brinkman's
that.
Soon after.
Yeah,
You
Are
know,
you guys gonna be
maybe-
inside or outside?
Inside.
we'll be in.
Well, maybe
It's
we'll
like
be
each
there
shop
too.
is
We'll be there promoting,
Yeah.
giving you a shout out.
What,
You will.
what day is it gonna be on?
Friday, the 10th, June 10th.
Are you all gonna be
Where-
there like all day?
Where will you be?
Like 4 to
With
7.
you. We're going to come
Inside
out.
this.
No, we're going to come out and promote you all.
Well,
We'll be
we'll
there
promote
4
you
to
too.
7. 4 to 7.
Well, we'll promote you more.
No, we're going to do you.
I promoted you first.
We'll be there
Well,
from 4 to 7.
From 4 to 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 to 7.
Yeah.
Well, then we can
Great.
totally make
That'll
it.
be fun.
Yeah.
Happy hour time.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys were talking about this rosé, and I think you did a great job describing
Uh-huh.
it. And I think what it's all leading to is, I think about rosés, and I think about like a really delicate wine
Yeah.
that you're sitting,
Yep.
at the beach or at the pool or whatever, sipping, and you're like, I don't know, you're one of the housewives of
Rosé all day.
rosé all day.
Yeah.
And this wine, I feel like you can actually pair it with food,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So with the Malbec, you can pair this with a salad. You could pair it with a shrimp dish.
Yeah.
You could pair it with oysters. Oh my goodness, that would be delicious.
You
I
love oysters.
oysters.
Fresh greens, all of that stuff.
Okay, so we're going to what part of Florida? We're going to 30A. You guys know about 30A?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to right outside Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
So,
Kelsey loves seafood.
I'm obsessed
So
with seafood.
she's,
So I'm
like,
gonna
dreaming about-
need to like take this bottle with me on this trip.
Of course.
And then I'm gonna like do a pairing on my trip.
Have you guys
Awesome.
had the oysters on the happy hour special at Marsh House?
No.
You need to.
Well, TJ
So-
doesn't eat any of
But
that.
you do?
This is
Okay,
really
so you'll
disappointing.
come with us.
It's
TJ's
not-
got to work
Yeah.
that
No,
night.
this has actually kind of like been a difficult. This has been the hardest part. Of
Oh,
my
this is a game changer for
There
us.
you go.
This is
No.
costing us our
Every
marriage.
has issues.
This is
Here's
it?
your-
Okay, I grew up loving
Okay,
seafood.
hold that thought right there.
Totally.
And then,
Well,
so,
it's
Well,
also
that was my
different.
idea, actually.
Oh, are we
Let's just
talking
put it in
again?
our cellar and drink it.
well, we can.
That's a great
but-
idea. That would be my idea.
Yeah.
It's always different though, because you're in a duo, like yourselves are a duo. It's different than being an individual. It's like, okay, I can do this, post this, say this.
Right.
Oh my gosh, if I let that
I've got
happen-
another,
I've
got another person with input
Right.
or say,
Right.
and a lot of times she shoots me down.
Yeah.
And,
He posts crazy stuff.
and don't want to say she's controlling, but she definitely like censors me. So I'm a creative kind of guy. So I just want to let my creativity flow.
Yeah. And so I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, hey, I just had this idea. Maybe we could find a way that we could just like put a tent up on Franklin Road and sell our wine that way.
Yeah, right.
And then that's a discussion that we have.
Oh man.
Anyway, so let's go back to your oyster talk.
So I have to tell you,
Okay, yeah.
if you like oysters,
Yeah,
TJ,
I
we don't
love.
Okay, I'm out of the equation. I'm working.
oysters.
Do you
I'm not there.
like them?
No, it's
Or
because
you
I think a lot of it is that he
allergic?
grew up in Chicago and he had horrible seafood because there's no good seafood
It's
in
a
Chicago. let's be
texture
real.
thing. Like I look at it. It's not like
He didn't grow up
appetizing.
eating
so-
fries.
Don't-
So you have to
don't
try them.
I would throw up. Literally, guys. I would.
Have you ever tried one?
No, but I don't think
That's the
it's all
problem.
mental for
That's the
me.
problem. Close your eyes.
So mentally, I would not be able to survive on Survivor because
He
I could
thinks it
not
looks
eat.
like a booger.
I would throw up, and then your experience would be ruined because of
to
me.
It doesn't taste bad.
But
So
I'm talking. It's all mental for
What
me.
do you think it is? Do you think it's like?
It's like a big. I don't even know, like a big snot ball or something. Like then I'm thinking that, and the next thing I know, I vomited all on your food, and you're not drinking
So wait,
wine
you
because I
wouldn't-
threw
you
up on
wouldn't eat
everything.
it for $1 million?
I don't know if
$1 million.
I could eat it. I don't know if I could keep it down because I'm
If
so
you were gonna
psyched out
eat
in
$1
my
million,
head.
you don't think you could keep it down?
I don't.
So let's
I
change
don't
the
know.
game here, TJ.
You're gonna offer me $1 million?
No, I'll give you a delicious glass of Albarino,
Oh, I love Albarino.
right? And you take a wonderful sip of this cold, refreshing, acidic, saline
Yes,
Albarino.
best story.
And then you just wash it down with an oyster on the half shell.
Oh yeah, oh
Boom.
yeah.
So you take the shell and you just
I
Boom.
think
You don't
the
have
key
to-
is
boom,
that
and then you do the Albarino.
you don't know it's coming. You have to have different foods out
Yeah.
and try different things.
I
and
honestly,
then put the
I
oyster
have to
in
have the
there with
oyster with the cracker and the
So you're
horseradish.
trying-
I have to have
Tabasco
it.
sauce
Yeah.
and some lemon.
I don't like just shooting them straight.
Delicious.
See, I guess I just don't have any kind of point of reference because I didn't grow up with that kind of.
So would you ever be
Food?
willing to try?
I'm telling you, my heart, yes. My mind, no.
So TJ, you just have to go 3.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu.
You're stuck on that.
So the other thing we were going to talk about, 'cause we talked a lot about wine. We were going to talk about like discussions of Top Gun and Stranger Things.
Well,
Wait,
you-
before we get to that, I just have
Yeah.
to tell you, if you haven't been to Marsh House,
Oh yeah, you were talking.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oysters.
No,
Yeah,
oysters,
back
let's
to,
get back to
it's
that.
always going to come back to oysters.
yeah. So they have a happy hour deal. Is it just on Fridays or is it every weekday?
Wait, where is
So
this
where's
at?
this? Where is this
at?
at?
It's in the Gulch.
Oh, it's in the Gulch.
Yeah, it's
And
right
we're
across
out
from
Wednesdays.
Sunda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
I
where
you're talking
Sunda
about.
is?
Yeah.
New Asian? Yeah, so they're right across there.
Wednesdays, I think, until either Friday or Saturday. I don't remember.
Man, you guys are like
Yeah.
getting out like all the time.
We try.
We try, yeah.
Good
So
for
they have
y'all. Wow.
they have $1 oysters,
Yeah.
which like
$1.
$1.
$1.
Wait. Okay. So wait. Hold
Yeah.
on. You said $1 oysters. Say the name of this place again.
Marsh House.
Marsh House.
We have to go there and you
Marsh
have to
House
try it
has
with us.
$1
Yeah.
oysters.
That's what I hear.
So is there like a line out the door?
You do
There-
have to get
there
there
was-
and like
They open it.
have
they
position
open-
on a table, yeah.
They
Are you
open at
kidding me?
5 and
Yeah.
there was a bit of a line.
But it's the restaurant group that's behind LA Jackson,
Yeah.
and then there's a coffee place. I can't remember what it is. Right next door down the street from where Marsh House is. But they're delicious oysters, and then they've got some really cool wines. There.
Do they carry
Not
Andeval?
ours yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
We're
We've
trying.
talked to
We're
them.
trying.
All right.
If you're listening right now.
That'd be sweet
And,
too. And then you could just be like, you like, there's a line. You just like pop your bottle, and they're like,
Yeah.
If I ate oysters, this wine would, I think, would.
you don't even
Yes.
know what oysters taste
Because
like.
would this be
But
good?
you're right.
Oh, it'd be
I
perfect.
would think.
Absolutely.
That's what
Oh my
I would
gosh, it would
think.
be perfect.
In
with
my head, I
oysters.
envision Andeval white.
Both of them would
White
be
field
perfect
blend,
with
right?
oysters.
Yes.
That's why I'm like, this is gonna be our Florida post.
Yeah.
When we go down there,
Yes.
I'm taking these wines and I'm getting oysters like every day.
Yeah. And we're taking you to Marsh House.
Yes.
And we'll just strap TJ down. And,
Guys, I would love that. Seriously.
Mark,
Wouldn't it be funny if
We'll
like
have put a couple
That
glasses
became
of
your
wine
favorite
in
thing,
there.
and
Right?
you were just
Yeah,
obsessed
there you
with
go.
oysters morning, noon, and night.
You
I
might,
got him to eat crab.
you might create a monster.
That's big.
Look
There
out!
you
Be
go.
careful, guys. You
Yeah.
don't wanna.
Did you like crab?
I did, yeah.
See?
He
But
couldn't.
again,
couldn't-
I didn't know what I
Listen
was
now,
doing.
look,
Like I
hold
was
on.
like,
He couldn't be the one to break it down. I had to.
I
do
didn't
it.
want to. I don't want to do any
He
of that.
couldn't touch the claws, so I had to do it for him, and then put it on his plate. So it was kind of like,
so nice
I
of
feel
you.
like I'm being judged here.
well, in this
Listen,
situation, a little bit.
I'm just, I
But
just
he
don't.
tried it.
I don't want
tried
to.
He didn't want to see the claw.
I don't like. Yeah.
Something about carcasses. I think that's what it is.
I wanted you to feed me it too, but you didn't do that. So you really let me down in that.
Okay.
So tell us about Stranger Things, Kelsey.
Yes. He's like, I'm ready. It's like,
He's over
can we
it.
move on from that
Now
one?
back to oysters.
I could go on about crabs and lobster for a while. Yeah. absolutely.
Yeah.
Me too.
So we were
Good to
talking before we got on the podcast about just like stuff we've been watching because we're in this day and age where we all watch things, and there are some good things to watch. You
Some.
guys had watched Top Gun.
Well,
night.
they probably went to the movies to see
yeah,
Top
so
Gun.
we
right?
actually
Last
went
night.
to a movie
How was
theater.
that?
We had-
How was that
Yeah, what was
experience?
that like?
Crazy.
Tell us about it.
Number
Figure out
one.
when the last time we went to a movie was.
When was it?
It was in right before COVID.
November of 2019.
Yep. And it was it 1917 or Midway?
One of
It
those.
was one of those.
Yeah.
Not the year. It was
Yeah,
the
no,
movie.
no,
the movie.
Okay, I was like, whoa. They had
We're not
they had
that
movie
old.
theaters back then.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They were alive.
No,
then.
remember that
a
movie?
long
It was like
time
the
ago.
World War I movie that was all one continuous shot
see
with
that
the two
movie?
guys.
We did see that.
Yeah,
was
it was
a good
good.
movie.
That was really
Yeah.
good.
So
Yeah,
it's been
so
a
we
long
saw that
time.
That
at
was
the
actually-
Green Hills Mall.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw that too.
We saw that in the theaters, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you guys
So-
you saw this in the theater.
Yep.
So what made? Okay, I'm gonna go deep. But
Yeah.
what made Top Gun be the movie to reunite you to the
Go to the
movie
movies.
theater
Yeah.
experience?
Because it wasn't the Avengers.
Really?
Wow.
It
We're
was
just
not
we're
part
into
of
that.
I feel like
a
there had to have been
comics
more than that.
extended
I think
universe.
it's, the action and the
So have you been looking
amazing-
forward to the movie coming out and
No.
being
Not
released?
Really?
Not
I
really.
mean,
But it drove you. It
But
drove you to the movie
it's
theater.
one of those
It
movies.
drove
You're-
me.
it
It drove
drove-
her, but it
yeah.
drove me.
He's
It's
pointing
like-
out all
it's
my,
like
my
that.
flaws.
It's like the James
I'm
Bond
not
movies.
perfect,
You
y'all.
kind of need to see those on a big screen.
I agree.
think.
I agree.
to
Like an
really
Avengers
get the
movie.
experience.
Like an Avengers
If
movie,
you
you got to
like
see it on the big
Avengers,
screen.
yes.
Well, and this is so we didn't go to like the most premium experience, but they have one now called 4DX, I think.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And you get
have.
the motion seat, you get
I've
wind,
been.
you get sense.
What?
So
No.
I
This
don't-
is like Disney
was-
World
that
on
was not
crack.
the
This is
one.
like I'm at
What?
Disney
Yeah,
World.
we didn't go to that one.
This is like
Yeah, we
soaring
didn't go
at
to that
Epcot
one.
Center. How you get
Because-
sense?
Yeah, because we
Sense.
didn't want to.
And where have you been to the movies that you've done this?
I did. I don't think they had the sense.
No,
this one-
I'm watching
She
you.
forgot to tell
We're going to talk about this after we're off the
Yes.
air.
So that was an option, but it was like I don't want to smell Tom Cruise.
Well,
But the
I,
recliner
But did
chairs
you?
are pretty
Is he
nice.
what you thought he would smell like?
Oh,
No, we didn't. Go to,
No way.
Oh, you didn't do
No,
the
we didn't
40.
do that
Oh, well, that's a huge letdown.
no.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to know what Tom
but
Cruise
I wanna
smells
ask,
like.
Was it actually good? Like, did you like the movie?
The action was great. That was fun.
Yeah.
Storyline,
So-
though. I remember that you said
Storyline.
something about
Judy,
like a.
Judy
Yeah.
gave it thumbs up, right? You said
Yeah.
overall it was a good movie. I said the action was great, and it was great to see it in a theater. It was a movie worth seeing in a theater. The plot was as wooden and clunky as the original one,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of what you expect. So
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
its own genre, right?
Yeah,
so you go in expecting that.
go for the
Side
action.
thing
Okay.
though on this that I've seen a lot in the media is that they're saying that there was some forms of ageism in this movie where they brought a lot of the male characters back as older men, but the
Yeah.
older females they did not bring back.
Not
Right.
Is
Kelly
that
McGillis.
Meg Ryan wasn't there.
Yeah.
And,
Kelly McGillis.
Kelly McGillis.
true? So and
Yeah.
they were replaced by
Jennifer Connelly.
younger actresses.
Well, she's 50.
She's not younger. She's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
she's older in a more attractive way. I saw Kelly McGillis interviewed, and she was like, "Do you want to know why I wasn't invited to be part of the sequel? It's because I look age appropriate."
Well, this is what I heard. So I was kind of like, oh man, like I read that and I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be interested to see if Meg Ryan had anything to say about it either.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think that I do kind of think that why can't we have the older women come back in
I
the
agree.
movie?
I
You know,
agree.
and
You can have the old dudes. Why can't you have the old women?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
What'd you give me that look for?
I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know.
Val Kilmer, come on.
Oh
Yeah.
well.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
I don't know.
He's
What?
So tell us about Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, we're talking about
I'm
Stranger
so
Things.
curious about that.
Started that one yet.
Yeah.
They said it's like way more.
It's a lot more horror.
That's what I was trying to look for.
Horror.
Yeah.
I would say for sure it's definitely more in the horror genre. And I don't think you really start to think it's actually good until about episode 4.
Wow.
Wait, there's 4 episodes out of the
No,
new
there's
season?
7.
So they released the whole thing.
Yeah, they released the whole thing, and then the other part's gonna come out in July.
Right.
At first, I thought it was gonna be the first season split up in 2 parts, but they're like the whole first 7 episodes, and then there's gonna be another 7 episodes.
Okay.
So, and I want to watch the rest of it with you tonight because we both fell asleep the other night. We had a whole marathon with the kids because they've watched the entire thing. We both fell asleep halfway through.
we sound like old people. Yeah, we
Sound
fell
like
asleep
us.
during a movie.
We fell asleep.
You didn't fall asleep during Top Gun, though, did you?
Yeah, well.
We did.
We
No.
almost.
We fell asleep.
No.
We fell asleep halfway through the
The
fourth
fourth
episode.
one. Yeah, it was late.
And and then when you were at work last night, I rewatched the end of it, which I want to rewatch again with you tonight because I was like, it was so good. I was like, okay,
Wow.
this show is now getting officially really, 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 really good. At first, I was worried this was going to be a total flop, not very good. But now they're tying it into the whole rest of everything, and I was worrying that they weren't going to do that. But
Too bad it took 4 episodes, huh?
you know what though? I think that there's something interesting about it. I can tell that they're it's almost like then you're whoa, they're connecting things in your brain that you're watching it and then you're okay, they were actually really thinking through what they were doing, and they've done this with this show over and over again. We talked about how even the first season we didn't like the first couple episodes.
Yeah, the first few episodes, it took me a while to get into Stranger Things. The first 2 or 3, I think I was like, "What is this? This is not making sense."
Was it difficult seeing the young kids on the show as parents?
What do you mean?
Because they're 30 years older now
Are
than
they?
they were the last season.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It has been too long.
It has been longer.
Well, because
But
of
it's been
COVID and all of that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
we saw a picture of Millie Bobby Brown, and oh my gosh, I couldn't even recognize her. She's so different
Really?
now. Yeah, I mean, not on the show, but in
Yeah.
real life.
they made them all look. I mean, they're obviously older, but
They're older,
They may
yeah,
look
but I
younger.
mean, I don't know. There was even that show that came out that everyone was obsessed with on HBO where, those were clearly all older people that were being portrayed as high school students. That one that was,
Euphoria. or
Euphoria.
Oh,
I never watched it
yeah,
because
yeah.
too much for me. No, I'm not
Yeah.
getting into that. But, I don't know. Though, I really highly suggest continue to watch Stranger Things. Power through it if you think that the first episode is whatever, because
We'll have to
we're
do
gonna rewatch it tonight and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, it actually all starts to
Okay.
fully connect,
All right. I hope so.
but it is very scary.
In the first
Wow.
half of episode 4 that you saw.
Second half,
The first half that you saw before you fell asleep.
yeah, before I fell asleep.
Yeah.
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 That's when things connect.
No, the second half is when it connected because I rewatched it by myself.
Uh,
Yeah, and then I
Now
was
it comes out.
no, then it was okay, this is actually getting really good.
Yeah. All right.
So anyway,
So
excited.
that's next
maybe
on our
watch
list.
That's
maybe
next on.
watch Top Gun, maybe don't. Maybe watch Stranger Things.
They like
You
Top
should.
Gun, though,
They liked
you know?
it.
I like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Stranger
Yeah.
Things. That's next on our list.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're maybe, we're going to have oysters with you guys. Maybe we'll watch Stranger Things sometime together. Who knows?
and we'll drink lots of
And we'll
Andeval.
drink.
Yes.
Andeval
Well, this has
wine.
been so fun, and
Yeah.
this wine is seriously really good, and we are very excited to share more about it.
So what's the website?
Yeah.
AndevalWine.com.
AndevalWine.com, and for Nashville Wine Duo listeners, you can
Yeah.
put in Duo22,
Duo 22.
and you get 10% off and free shipping, which is a big deal.
That's a hell of a deal.
It is a hell
Like
of a
free
deal.
shipping. Shipping is the thing that
Shipping
kills you
is the
with
thing that
online
kills. Yeah.
Yeah.
wine sales. So through the end of June, I think that code is good. Or you can also go to Andeval.wine, same website. It's just like another way to
Andeval.wine.
get there.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. I
There's
have
lots
to,
of places
I
locally
have
to
to
buy
slip
it.
in one last thing before we end. Tell us about your homemade crackers just in 5 seconds, because you made these amazing homemade crackers, and they're
Who makes
incredible.
homemade crackers?
No one does.
Judy does.
Judy does. Okay, these freaking homemade crackers. Okay, like I broke what I'm doing.
I
with
feel
not
so
eating bread.
bad because you
You
weren't eating
but
bread,
guess what?
and
I didn't
I
have a
got you
stomach ache.
eating bread, and
It's not bread,
Now I
it's a
feel
cracker.
bad.
Just say really quickly how you made these homemade crackers.
So it's a recipe from Valerie Bertinelli on Food Network,
Yeah.
and they're very simple. They have rosemary and
yes. They're freaking delicious.
butter, of course, and a few
Heavy
other
cream.
things. A little bit of heavy cream,
Yeah.
not too much, but simple to make. But
Yeah.
they're great with some
Homemade.
goat cheese and fig jam.
Y'all, these
Yeah.
crackers made my night. Like, seriously. Okay. Well, great crackers, great wine, great people. It's so fun, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yay.